Welcome back to Growing the Good Life. This is Michelle Roberts, and this is our second farm tour. Last week was our first garden tour. This is my daughter, Ruby, picking snapdragons out of the cutting garden. She loves to do that, and she's picking them for bouquets for our house. Here's the garden. Here in front of you is the original. To the left is our expansion. That expansion will take our garden to close to 1/3 of an acre. And down below that is where we are going to have our new expansion. We'll just get started going row by row here is the best way to do this, just to show you guys what we've got going as compared to last week. So this is our hodgepodge row. These are my King Richard leeks with the snapdragons, volunteer dill, and tomatoes throughout here. I'm going to leave these King Richard leeks in for longer than I had originally intended because they just take so long to grow. These guys are planted at least 8 inches into the soil, and they're going to take a while to get bigger. This is my celery from last week we transplanted. It's looking really good. These guys are going to be huge, full-size, like plants, heads of celery, I guess you'd call it. And they're doing great. These are the dill that I direct seeded. I've got some small little gem lettuces planted in there. I had some leftover space, and I put that with some basil plants, some transplants that I started. We've also got the muir lettuce rounding out this row. I like to mix rows when I can, and now that I have expansion gardens, these gardens are going to be used for a lot of lettuces and root crops because this soil has a lot more organic matter in it and less weeds. Here you're looking at a row of kale, just a single row of mixed kale. Down at the bottom of the screen are scallions that are ready to harvest. I harvest those and sell them at the farm stand. In front of you is a sea of strawberries. This started out 2 years ago as 25 strawberry plants, and I'm sure I have close to 150 in there if I were to count. So quite a lot going on in there. Lots of weeds too, but there's an open row next to those strawberries that is going to be open, and I'll plant something in there. This is a close-up of the hodgepodge row. You can see we've got a lot of action going on. I hope I get some butterfly caterpillars on this dill soon. I haven't seen any, but I've been watching. Lots of pretty cut flowers. You can see some tomato plants in there. And we're good with it. Whatever wants to grow, typically I'll let it grow as long as it's not bothering anything. And it's not. Here we have some lettuce. The same lettuce that you saw last week. It's just bigger. It's actually ready to harvest pretty much. This is Crispino, iceberg, a romaine, and the muir lettuce. These are our snapdragons that Ruby was cutting next to her garden, which is looking great. And I love having cut flowers in the garden. Pollinators love it. Here's another view of the garden from just a few rows down and looking back. Our walkway's dirty right now, but we're cleaning it up. You can see here in the foreground I have done some weeding. Those were the 2 rows that our garlic came out of, and there was a row of potatoes that we cleared out. So that is taken care of. We're making some progress. Here's a garden kitty ghost, my daughter Ruby with her flower haul. We're going to make some bouquets out of that. Some dahlias have bloomed already, and we have a lot of different kinds of snapdragons.
Hey, buddy.
Yep, and there's my garden kitty. Back to the lettuce. The lettuce, it looks so good. It's such a crowd pleaser. It's tasty too. And my dad was very skeptical that we could grow lettuce here like this in the warmer temperatures, but it's doing okay. These are Dixondale plants. These are my onion plants. They're all intermediate day, which is what grows here the best. And they're bulbing up nicely, as you can see. They have not started flopping over yet, so I'm keeping a watch on them. I hope they'll all get a little bit bigger. But some of them are close to being ready to pull, so I'm keeping my eye out on them. Try to keep the weeds out as much as possible, but don't always get all of them pulled. You know, we're working on expansions. We're doing a lot of things. We're super busy, so we do what we can in the 12 hours every day that we're out here. And, yeah, this garden is 1/10 of an acre. There are 30 18-foot-long rows in this garden, so that equals close to 1/10 of an acre. And there's a lot of production in this garden if you really plant intensively like we do. And this is our carrot bed. I think I was trying to get you guys a nice close-up for some of these carrots, but I didn't do the best job of it. These are Napoli and Atlas carrots. There are 4 rows, and there are probably 40 carrots, 50, 60 carrots in each row. So we've got quite a lot of carrots to harvest. And our pretty Swiss chard is at the top of the screen. Always gorgeous. And we have wood chips in our pathways, which is courtesy of Duke Energy. From cutting down a bunch of trees near our power lines, they chipped it all and left it for us. Bonus. Back to these onions. These are a customer pleaser, and my family loves them as well, so I have a lot of them in this garden. My weeds that I pulled. I told you guys I did some weeding this week, so these were my garlic rows, and here's a potato row that's not doing great. And I've got some more weeds to pull, but we're doing okay. We're making some progress. These are my candy onions that I grew from seed and put them out. They were tiny little wisps. If you follow me or you're subscribed and you follow my shorts, you'll see that I did a comparison video just recently. These guys are hosses compared to what they were when I planted them out. This row was fallow and empty last week, but now I have 72 bunches of parade scallions growing. And there is a daughter walking in the background. This is my latest bed of carrots. These are Mokum carrots. They were pelleted seeds, and I planted them out pretty sparsely just so that hopefully I would not have to thin them very much. And it looks like I might get my wish. I do not like thinning carrots. Thinning a bed of carrots is pretty horrific to do, if you ask me. But I will do it if I have to. These guys are looking great. That landscape fabric over the top just gives some shade from the heat of the sun. We'll take it off in about another week. This is the expansion. So what I just walked you through is at the top of your screen, that little strip there. And here's the rest of the garden. This is huge. There's a lot going on here. There's 3 rows of tomatoes, 240 total, 140 pepper plants, 2 beds of strawberries right in front of you that equal 250 plants. Then I've got 3 more beds, and those are onions that are kind of weedy, extremely weedy. But as soon as those onions bulb up and we pull them out, we'll put them under landscape fabric. We have to do this because of the Bermuda grass that's here. It's horrible. It's everywhere. And you can't grow unless you do something to tamp it back. And so this is what we have to do for a couple years. We'll pull the plastic off, and we will have no weeds after that. Here is an extreme close-up of an early glow strawberry. This is a close-up of those 2 beds that I showed you that were kind of right in front of the camera a while ago. These are double rows, so we have 125 to 130 plants in each row, in each bed, and each bed has 2 rows. And this is half of our strawberries. The other half will be in the newest expansion. So we've had 2 expansions this year. This is just more proof. This is just footage from me just seeing how many of my strawberries were going to make it, how many of them were coming out. Quite a lot of them have come out, even since this video was taken a few days ago. Today's Friday, June 16th. This is the day. That's the day I'm posting this. This video was taken, I believe, 2 days ago, and the strawberry plants are popping even more. So we are excited about that. We'll definitely get a small harvest off of these. A few berries off of 500 plants equals quite a lot of berries. So those will be coming to the farm stand soon. And this is just another look at the 3 rows of tomatoes that are at the top of the screen, and then the 1 row of peppers we just transplanted. We are definitely we're slow this year. We have a lot of infrastructure to build before we were able to actually plant. But next year it'll be better. We won't find ourselves in that situation. And I know it doesn't look great with all the plastic laying on the soil, but this is just a harsh, unfortunate reality when you are prepping a bed to do something like this in an area that has so much crabgrass or Bermuda grass. And this is below. When we were doing the original garden tour, this is to the right of the original garden. So the first expansion was to the left, this is to the right, and this is to house 2 rows of strawberries. Each row is going to be 150 feet long. These are 2 rows of strawberries and 2 rows of tomatoes, because I'm going to end up with about 400 tomato plants. So this expansion is going to turn the garden into a garden of about a ½ acre, close to it, and we're probably going to do a little bit more expanding next year. But we love it. This is great. This is my dad. He's in his elements. He was a Roman engineer in a past life. And I just want to thank you guys for joining me. We are going to be putting strawberries and tomatoes into these. This will be 4 rows. 30-inch wide beds just like the others, 150 feet long. It's going to be a big expansion. Thank you so much for being with me today in the garden tour. I know you could be anywhere. You chose to spend your time with me, and I really appreciate it. Bye for now, and happy growing.